just saying I'm going to talk about whatever. So there's Benadryl, which is good for sleep. There's Oxycontin, which is good for sleep, and then there's also and also good for pain relief. And all, but you might get addicted. And also, what's it called? Consider methylphenidate, which is basically a dopamine that makes you super energized, which is cool. And then afterwards, there's just regular tea, and then there's birth control, and then there's a birth control would be birth control, and then there is antidepressants and depressants. Antidepressants basically makes you happy because basically it makes you basically they said I don't know what the word is, but it basically makes you how do you describe it? Antidepressants basically makes you anti-depressed. So basically it calms down your mind saying you're depressed and then you get happy from it. So it's called antidepressants. And then there is depression pills, which is basically they said not depression pills, but depression pills. They said no, there's no depression pills. There's anti-anxiety pills, which is anti-anxiety pills. Is basically it calms you down, and I don't know how anti-anxiety pills. I don't think those work actually, but it's fine. And then Benadryl does work as an anti-anxiety pill because it's making you sleepy, but if you stay awake, it does work. Now, if you fall asleep while going to sleep on bed, yes, it depends on the person on how well they sleep at night. So basically, and then there's regular tea and stuff. Now plant medicine, we're gonna talk about. There's mint tea, good for taste and good for blah blah. It's just mint. And then there's chamomile, which is good for sleep. There's yogi tea, which is good for energy, for walking, soothing sex, and sleep time. And so basically, it has ginger, chamomile, and some plant leaf that I don't know. And afterwards, basically, we're going to talk about the scientific method and the method. So basically, a scientific method is that basically they first get the assumption. They get the assumption. So with the assumption, they get the assumption. So basically, they get the hypothesis of what they think has happened based off of the research what they've done before, or with the data that they have, which what they think they're going to happen. Then they go on to the test. They test it once, write down the data, test it twice, write down the data, test it three times, test the data. Then basically they look at the results and then basically make a new hypothesis and makes the data over again. So they make the data over again. So after they make the data over again, they do it again. And based on the data, they make new assumptions and make new work for the thing that is. Then basically they get the data and then basically do what they do the second trial, first trial, third trial. And then basically when it was the results that they needed or what they wanted, basically off of their assumptions, they basically get with the data. And if there was new things, they basically get new things for new experiments that they wanted before. So when it goes to medication, they either get people to sign up or do it on animals. Most people just sign up. So it's a free trial or they get paid to do it. So first the people try it on the free trial and people get genetic mutations. By the way, it never works well with drugs, and I would just say if you know the drug, be safe with it, and that's why they take microdoses, which is good. So basically, it could have like basically I wouldn't. They said there's some you trust and some are sketchy. So just know that some are sketchy and some aren't. I always take the safe ones, which was basically Benadryl, not OxyContin, but Benadryl, methylphenidate, Concerta, and also just regular tea. And now magic mushrooms, I couldn't sign up for it because they said I wasn't old enough, which was weird. Weed, I never signed up for that because it's illegal in my state. And cigarettes isn't a thing because most people got addicted, which was that basically cigarettes is that it's literally selling products because people just sell it because it's an addiction. Basically, they used to say that basically they would say it was an addiction, so basically people took it because they played baseball because people played baseball. But people take it in cigarettes because people sold cigarettes around because people grew tobacco to sell money. So they sold money, and then people in baseball played baseball, which was a new brand of it, but it was less toxic to the lungs but more toxic to the mouth, which was interesting. Now, did they say it was addicting? They said they used it for money, which what they always do, and that's why tobacco is still a thing because People are addicted and people are getting money off of it. Now, the thing is, what they do is basically they test the person and then they test the person. They get the results, send it to the team of info. They send it to the team of info, which was them. After the team of info, they basically check if the results were safe. If the results were safe, they'll do the test again over again. If the results wasn't safe, they wouldn't take the test over again. So when the results were safe, they took the test good. So they took the results that were good, they would take it safely. After they took it safely, they would take the results. Then basically they would publish their work, and what they published was that what they understood of the drug, of what they published. And then when they published what they needed of the drug, they basically asked the people if they wanted it, and if they need it, and when they can get it. And then basically they send the drug out and send the drug when they needed it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, pretty basic. And with the scientific method, you can do anything. The drug thing, I would not try on on other life forms, because they could be things like, do you understand what they're saying, or like that, because it's very hard to know what some other life form is feeling, which is interesting. But as long as they're doing good, you're good. But if they're not doing good in their mind, that is a very difficult thing. That's why we need words. You can test their mind by using the environment, but I don't really think that works. If you use it, then basically you can use the environment, but I wouldn't think that works. The thing is, basically, if you were going to test on animals, you would probably need basically a translator for animals, which I don't know where people get those. And if those exist, I would be mind blown that exist. But basically, if you're gonna go on an animal, you should probably test the animal, what it, like the priorities of basically you observe the animal and if it's changed. But I don't know how to test on animals. So yeah.